I just ran back to the chair to make this happen. Was just finishing up the work week at the very last second. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm excited too. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Grace. Oh, hi, Eva. Where do I work? As I will share, I'm a clinical psychologist. So I have a group private practice. It's called the Counseling Center of New England. And right now, my office is at home because of the pandemic. So I'm doing all of my sessions from my home office here. Hi. Okay. Let's do this. I work in my practice, but remotely from home right here. Hi, Eva.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy to have you here.
I love your wallpaper.
Thank you. I have to share that I actually wallpapered it myself.
That's actually very impressive because there's so many components of doing that.
I'm not a creative person. I can't draw. I can't perform. But I can do it like a home improvement project like nobody's business.
Do it yourself queen. We appreciate those. Absolutely.
That's right. Let me introduce us. I am, and welcome to everybody. I am Dr. Elisa Hurwitz. I'm a clinical psychologist by day, and by day and night, I guess, I'm Dr. Drama. So I write and lecture and talk about the intersection of psychology and theater. And I started this mental health series in response to the pandemic. And I've been having wonderful guests on talking about mental wellness during the pandemic and a little bit about theater too. And today my guest, who I have been wanting to talk to for a while because of her use of social media and being honest and open about her own experiences with mental health is Eva Noblezada.
Yay! That's exciting.
So happy to have you here. So my first question to you is, how are you doing?
I'm doing actually pretty well.
Yeah, good.
I think if I were, and I'm saying that because if I were to go back in time and think about the worst case scenario of how I would be feeling knowing my brain, like stuck at home, I think I'd be doing a lot worse. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. At this moment, I am spent. I had, and that's okay because it's the weekend and I'll be able to refuel, but it's a funny thing because of the pandemic and the working remotely. I'm doing all my sessions, teletherapy. Nobody canceled, and literally nobody canceled this week. I had 43 sessions scheduled and 43.
That's great, though.
It is great, and it's great to have that available. It's that kind of tip top of the pace was I'm not used to, because usually a few people cancel and you have a little bit of breathing room to catch up or whatever. It is what it is. I'm grateful to be working, grateful to be part of the solution, as it were.
Thank you for what you do, because I'm very grateful for my therapist. He's in London, and I FaceTime him when I can. So thank you for what you do. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's definitely a calling, and I love doing it. But I'm ready to refuel this weekend.
Yeah, you deserve it. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna Netflix and chill tonight after my kids are in bed. Netflix party with my sister and watch Schitt's Creek. I think that's what I'm gonna do to
Everyone's talking about Schitt's Creek, and I think I have to join the boat. I love watching old shows. I don't know why. I'm obsessed with old shows. I don't like
older than. Okay.
Yeah. I'm watching New Girl, and I think it's the best thing in the world. So
cute. It's so cute and sweet and endearing and funny.
Oh, and The Bachelorette. From 2012. I don't know. I'm just obsessed. It's like new TV to me.
Yeah. That's such a funny show. I have to admit I watch it too. And
it's great.
I know, but it's I have issues with it because it's so heteronormative.
It's so problematic. But it makes me feel good because I am very much in support of the woman. So I'm feeling with her, and especially like I kind of linked up watching Bachelorette with my cycle. Sorry, all the men on this feed who are uncomfortable with talking about menstrual periods.
I have to get used to it.
Yeah, get used to it. But I like synced in with the I guess season, so it was a really rough ride for me too.
That's really funny. There's some good ones. My favorite season was Rachel. That's like maybe 2 seasons ago. So when you get to that one, I was like, oh, she's like, she was actually using the show to say something about identity and.
Was this the lawyer?
I don't think she was a lawyer, but she's a Black woman, and she talked a lot about identity and being a Black woman and not wanting to be a monolith and tired to walk that line. I was like, oh, now this show's about something a little bit more.
Exactly. I'm gonna work my way there, and that'll be the prize season.
That is the prize season. So anyway, I'm gonna probably watch Schitt's Creek with my sister remotely to kind of refuel. So folks, while we're here, please ask questions, comments. We'll get to as much as we can. We're just here to have a conversation about mental wellness. So I want it to really be, involved with everybody to be involved in this conversation. What are you doing to take care of yourself while you are at home?
I'm trying to keep a routine, and by routine I mean not forcing productivity.
Yes.
I'm finding that waking up and doing a little bit of movement and taking a shower has really helped.
Yep.
When I don't do that, I kind of get in a funk. So I realize that's nice. And I've been taking like extremely cold showers.
Oh, interesting.
Like to the point where like for the average person, they'll be like, ew, did you even like use soap? Yes, I did. But it's like 7 minutes long because the water is like so cold. But it really like wakes my brain up and like just starts zapping everything alive, which is really nice. But yeah, I'm not forcing any productivity or creativity, if that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like when this first started, there was that, I don't know, just some people going around, like that thing about Shakespeare writing, one of his great plays during.
Oh my God.
Right. And it like this whole productivity porn thing,
That's dumb.
It is. And the way that I contextualize it is that for creative people who are at home who, aren't feeling inspired, or for people who are at home and not working and not feeling like they're not being productive, whoever is not feeling productive. We're not at home, like quarantining. We are staying at home. We are trying to survive a pandemic while staying at home. We are not remote working. We're trying to survive a pandemic while trying to get some work done at home. And on and on. So if all you can do is survive today, congratulations.
I've been actually saying, it's funny, I've been saying that surviving is thriving right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying to people. Congratulations. You made it.
Yes, I like that. Thriving is, what you say, surviving is thriving.
It's true, though.
It's true. I mean, and that's, what we know about trauma is that when you're in it, you're just trying to survive. And that you're not getting anything else. A soldier in a war zone with bullets flying by his head is not writing a sonnet. He's just surviving.
Yeah.
That's all. That is our job right now.
Absolutely.
Questions coming in. Okay, let's see. How are you dealing with being separated from your cast and theater family every day?
Oh, man. I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, it'd be different if it was like just me being separated from everybody else. And I also know what that feels like because I took 2 weeks off the show for vocal injuries last year. But I mean, we thankfully have a group text that if we definitely felt like we missed them too much and we could say something, and we're still connected in that way. But I know that they're all safe and well. So that's honestly the best news. I don't have to keep wishing for more because everybody is in this predicament at the moment. So it makes it a little easier knowing that we're all together in a way.
Yeah, we're alone together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Together, right? Yeah. And you guys, I know people don't have to be public with their whether or not they had COVID, but I know a couple of the shows there was some people who have had it, and most seriously, Nick Cordero is very ill in the hospital. So I pray for him every day. And if people do. But it seems like you guys have all been safe from the Hadestown family. And
yeah, it seems like it. I kind of do actually believe though that maybe around February something similar with very parallel symptoms went around and knocked everybody out. I mean, it really hit us hard in February, and now that we're finding out the kind of new like tracking of like when it actually entered the United States, some of us are kind of like, maybe that was it.
I think a lot of people are having that epiphany that they were sick in like November, December, January, February with those symptoms, and they're just like kind of uncounted cases. Let's see. Okay, how do you deal with panic attacks?
Oh, I put a cold compress on my chest. I do that. I have a breathing exercise I do. I've just been introduced by a friend of mine to frequency healing, which honestly has like kind of changed the game. Her name is Mary Helen Hensley. Everyone should go check her out. She's changed the game for me a little bit. And talking, I like actually calling my friends. I'm the friend that will call and be like, help me.
Yeah. That's so good talking. Obviously, I believe in talking being helpful.
Yeah, I do too. But I also think love letters. I've been writing love letters to myself every morning. Like after my workout, I get like a little post-it or like a little note card and just like write a little thing to myself. And it's mainly just checking in. Like it's I guess a diary entry, but I don't like keeping a diary. I've always felt weird about those.
Yeah.
But yeah, the love letters. They're helpful.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. What you mentioned about the cold compress, so that works two ways for people who want to know more about that. One is that the cold activates a response that slows down your system. So when you're feeling anxiety, is everything speeding up?
Yeah.
And so the cold just causes you physiologically your system to slow down. And then also it's right on a good pressure point there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Either here or on the back of my neck.
Yes.
I used to do that in Hadestown. The wonderful stage manager, Cherie Vite, what I would always sometimes look at her when I knew it was coming on or I was having one, because sometimes when it happens on stage, you don't have a choice. You just have to keep going until you go off stage. And she would just know immediately, and she'd come and bring me 2 compresses that dancers use for like injuries, and I would just put one here, one on the back of my neck, and it's really extremely helpful. Really,
that's incredible. So your dressers can know you really well, right? So she can.
My dresser is the best. My dresser's name is Patty, and she always knows, and she's amazing. And she's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Then you mentioned breathing. Deep breathing also is a way to slow down your system when it's sped up from the anxiety. And there are good apps out there that have deep breathing coaches. So maybe I will put out later some recommendations. I want to get to this question, which I know will be a good one to answer. Morgan Squibb asks, how has mental health awareness and acceptance grown in the Broadway community over the past years?
I'll be completely honest.
Please.
I've never not talked about mental health, and for a very long time, even now in a way, I do feel like it's still very hush hush.
Yeah.
Don't want to mess with my image because it's a dirty topic and it's an embarrassing topic and it's an ashamed topic. But I feel like the people who are talking about it more are the younger. And I'm not saying that younger as a negative term. I'm just saying I think part of my generation that like jumped headfirst into theater and being empathetic just likes talking about it more because they found the trick that talking and connecting heals them as well.
Yeah.
Which how I feel. So, I mean, I only talk about it because I never had this kind of conversation started when I was younger and looking up to people on Broadway. It just was never talked about in TV and Hollywood as well. So, I mean, I think it's extremely helpful, and it's been helping me as I've grown up in this industry in a way, starting womanhood at 17 across the pond. I didn't have anybody talking to me about mental health, so it healed me at the same time.
To talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, to reciprocate that appreciation, because as a psychologist, every time somebody with a platform talks about their experiences with mental health, it takes a brick out of the wall of stigma. And I so appreciate how vocal and transparent you are about your experiences. I know it makes a difference and literally saves lives.
I know.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I know for a fact it makes a difference too, because I can see it happening.
Yeah.
It just also does suck because when everyone comes together to support everybody, you realize how many people really are affected by by the downward spiral of eating disorders and mental health and anxiety. And so it is sad, bittersweet, because you don't want everyone to suffer, but it's nice to know that we're taking little steps together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and every one of these conversations, I'm on week 3 of doing the series, and every one of these conversations, people have shared about, and I it's not my information to share, so I'm not going to say names and what they shared, but things like saying, yes, I deal with anxiety. Yes, I deal with depression. Yes, I'm in recovery from an eating disorder. It is so prevalent, and it matters to talk about it, because obviously it's not going to stop producers from hiring you, right? If they think you're right for the role, they think you're right for the role.
And if it does stop them, then we don't want to work for them anyway.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Do you think that having a creative team that is comprised more heavily on the female identifying side makes a difference to how your creative team supports and responds to you as an employee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't have had a more contrasting experience with a creative team. Miss Saigon was literally all men, and the same breed of men. The same breed of men that was kind of good intentions, wonderful intentions, but the execution did not hit the mark of how to approach and support a 17-year-old green girl entering a huge world that she had no idea. It was just some of the ways of communication and come along, let's go, were just obstacles and barriers, and lots of arrows to the chest of, you can make it this far, but you have to sacrifice your diet. You can make it this far, but we're going to make you go to the gym 5 times a week because we're not really happy with how you look. So there was a lot of there was a lot of not really thinking through, maybe we shouldn't speak and throw bombs at this little tiny girl who is, they were treating me like I was an experienced woman who had been in the industry for decades and had a tough outer shell. And I don't know, I'm in no way saying it was their fault. I'm just saying it was definitely much more challenging with that team rather than the team we have now. So, it's a majority female identifying folks. So many women. Yeah. Thank you. It's breakfast time here. Okay. At 4:20. Whatever works. People will say my sleeping schedule's off, or I have whatever. I have good days and I have bad days. Whatever works, right? Surviving is thriving. 6:30. I put my head to sleep. A.M. Oh my gosh. It was really actually very exciting. Because the sun was coming up, and we were it was exciting. We were like children. But yeah. All right, let's pick another question. Let's see. Tanya. Social media feeds a productivity beast, yet it's also a means to stay in touch. Advice. Oh, I like that. I've never thought of Instagram or social media being a productivity beast. That's actually a really interesting perspective. I'm a huge, the only reason I'm on Instagram is to talk about mental health, and the only reason I'm on Twitter is to talk about is just to normalize things. But I love Instagram because I love imagery. I think it's helpful for everybody here to unfollow people that don't give them that kind of positive shock when they see an image from that person, because I know I was following so many people that I felt like I was supposed to, or that I wanted to be like or look like. And I realized actually how toxic that kind of, I guess I'm like holding standards to myself without even realizing. So that's very unhelpful. But it's difficult because you don't even realize you're following these people. And then you go on the explore page and it's like a bunch of images that just like attack your senses. So I completely understand that it's like not the best, but also can be amazing if it's used very carefully.
Yeah, I really think it's important to use social media as a way to be honest and open, right? So it's so highly curated, and I tell you, some of the people I see are absolutely negatively impacted. I mean, to a detriment to their mental health by social media. And I say, my recommendation is what you say is unfollow the people who are where it's making you feel bad.
Yeah.
My personal Facebook page, I share the pictures of my kids looking cute, the same as I frequently share the pictures of them having a tantrum. Be like, oh my gosh, like,
yeah, I love that.
Like,
though.
I'm ready to drop kick them out the window right now. Can I get an amen? And then all the moms come in and say, like, I totally know what that's like, and that feels connective, right?
Yeah.
Rather than the perfect abs or the like I start every day working out or whatever.
I feel like Facebook and Twitter are more connected because we are able to use words more.
Yeah.
And Instagram is more of like really, like I said, an attack on like senses for imagery.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why, like, for me, I've kind of like flipped the switch and unfollowed so many people, like so many like model pages. I used to follow so many like Finspiration pages, and I realized how like toxic that was.
Yeah.
And I'm following now so many like quote pages. I know that sounds really cheesy, but the fact that it's like you scroll and you see friends, you see dogs and food, and then every once in a while, like I follow Gucci, like I love those pages, and then you'll see like 5 pages from these people who create these beautiful, colorful posts with just a beautiful, simple quote, or a quote by like Dalai Lama, or they're just, it's a really nice mixture of just like Instagram. It's like positivity, and it's really nice actually, because I think we those pages need to be advertised more, because everyone kind of needs those. It's like
that's a good point, that it's a sensory assault, right?
Yeah, it is,
because the words, you have to process them. The image just comes at you.
Yeah.
And if it's all of this, curated content about, how to be perfect, the only escape from it is to edit it, is to have boundaries and say, I'm not following this anymore.
And the whole editing process too.
Yeah.
Even though we know Photoshop exists, we don't actually realize how easy it is to look at a picture and not realize that it's been photoshopped or there's a filter on it. You're still seeing something that's enhanced in a way. Like it's never going to be completely natural. Yep. So that's a good one.
It's a thing to even put a natural photograph on, right? Jamie Lee Curtis did it recently. I forget what cover she did, but she was like, no makeup, no photoshopping, and she did a cover shoot, and it was like news.
We love that woman. I love that woman so much.
Right. Well, and I love that she's taken the things that she's been through. If you guys don't know, she's very open and public about being in recovery from opioid addiction, and used that to expand her humanity, and talked openly about her recovery and her active recovery from addiction, and I love that about her too.
It's very
it is. It is, and again, it helps destigmatize it, because, like, speaking of mental health and theater, like in Jagged Little Pill, the addict doesn't necessarily look like the person on the street, although they can be, and we should have the same understanding and empathy for them. Yeah. But it also looks like the housewife next door, right, in Connecticut, and so I love her for that. We have a question. Yeah, we have a question here from Livy Hendricks. This is a good question. I think I may be depressed, and this is a new realization. What are some first steps I should take? We just took the first step, right?
You did. I was just gonna say. I was like, that's a huge step.
Yeah.
I would say self-compassion. That is I think that is the first step, and something that will always be there. and I always find, and I always like this reminder that everything I need I already have, which is a nice comforting reminder. It makes me feel really secure in myself, regardless of if I'm having one of those messy days, if I have a panic attack, or if everything I say is negative towards myself, and I'm trying to not think that in my brain. Understanding that we've created pathways in our brain that are like trained to we've adopted beliefs that we've literally trained ourselves to have in our body and in our human. So that first step already is already a huge act of self-compassion, because you've thought through the barriers, and kind of on the other side by saying, I have this. I was in denial for years about what I had. So that's a huge step for you. I'm very, not excited, but it's a beautiful journey of self-awareness, discovery, and self-love discovery.
Yeah.
Difficult, but extremely priceless.
Yep. And of course, I'm going to say the next step after that self-acceptance, like you were saying, is talk to a therapist, find a therapist. And most importantly, find a therapist who you feel comfortable with. Nothing predicts treatment outcome better than goodness of fit. Not years of treatment, not gender, not age, not where they were trained, not theoretical model. It's goodness of fit. Find a therapist you feel comfortable with. Now's a kind of a unique time because we are still in the stay at home, so it would probably be teletherapy, but all the insurances are covering teletherapy right now. It's a mandate because it's a national emergency. So you can access therapy, good therapy at home. Mags Mahoney, great screen name. Advice for talking to your friends about your needs / boundaries regarding your mental health. Another really good question.
Wow, that's a great question. I would say that it shouldn't be a problem if they have your best intentions at heart. And it might be I've had to drop not a lot of people, but I've had to drop people that I thought were my friends, because in times where I needed them, I was like, where are you? And then I would find myself giving when they needed it. So it's also really tough to know who's in your circle and who you can trust, because relationships, I genuinely believe, are give and take and compromise with a foundation of love and respect. But I always, sometimes when I call my friends, if I'm having like a panic attack, like I was saying before, or if I'm feeling down and I don't want to get there, I'll call them in with support. And I'll ask sometimes, I'll text, I'm going to call you. Are you capable right now to support me? I think that's just always having good communication. I think that's extremely important between your friends, and always telling them how much you love them because they love you. And, it's just a really nice exchange of respect and care. That's, having those good friends. But if they don't reciprocate that, I would say, like, you deserve better, period.
Yep. Period. It's up to us to boundaries. So, that's on us. And and good friends will respect that.
Cynthia, I lost you. I can see it, but I can't hear you. Oh. This is very strange. Okay. It's probably my Wi-Fi, maybe?
Okay, we're back. Technical difficulties. Sorry, y'all. Come on back and we'll start the conversation or continue the conversation. I think Instagram is just overloaded. We're back. Act 2.
Intermission's over.
Intermission is over. Hope everybody got to the bathroom quickly because those lines are terrible.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry about that. I think Instagram is just overloaded because
everyone and their mom's doing a live right now.
Yes. Okay, so if you asked a question, please resend it. so that we can get to this question. We were just talking about boundaries, and it's important. I would say it's important also to own your boundaries, and that it's not a rejection of people. It's just saying what you need, and you can't control the people. You can just control you.
Yeah.
And also, like you were saying, you make it easy for people to say, I'm not available right now. But also, if you're a friend and you're not available, it's okay to say that. It's okay, right? It's okay for somebody, for you to say, I've got nothing left in the tank today. I'm going to call you tomorrow, so I can give you some support.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Here's a good one. How do you deal with rejection and auditions for colleges?
I'm about probably the best for this specific question. I didn't go to college. I actually never wanted to go to college. I don't even have a high school degree. AP Psych. I'm just kidding. Very important. Which is very important. But my teacher was not the nicest person. For rejections, I've learned that if it says no to me, then it will not serve me the way that I'm striving for. I always want to be in a space and in a show and around people that have the same frequency as me, if not higher, so I can learn and attempt to grow and be better and soak it in all like a sponge. So when somebody says no to me, it just means, if you want to go extreme, it means the opportunity, there's one better out there. Or if you want to be extreme and be like, I'm a badass, which I like feeling like that, is I'm too good for that and I don't know it. So I'm going to trust that the universe has something better for me in store that will challenge me and make me stronger. But getting told no is really difficult. It is.
Yeah. I think acting is such an interesting career in terms of rejection, because it's like you go, just to pull out a number, but it's like you go on 100, job interviews to get one job. Whereas, kind of muggles will go on maybe 10 job interviews, to get one job. 5. So having to mentally, juggle that, and do the gymnastics or managing that, that rejection and containing it, I think is really something that you got to get good at, or it just keeps taking hold. Yeah.
I would say I hate to say this, but like, it has to happen a few times for you to go, what was that? And then assessing the situation and how you feel, because when you get rejected once and then you get rejected the second time, you can always go back and say, actually, I handled this a lot better than I did before. And you're already 50 steps ahead.
I did see somebody say earlier in Act 1, about just saying that I didn't see who it was, but she was saying that she had anxiety, and that your advocacy and your being social media actually helped her feel brave to deal with her anxiety.
Good. I'm very excited and happy about that. You're not alone.
I just turned that on. Okay. No, you are not alone. Let's take another question here.
Oh, God. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Wi-Fi is just cutting out.
Is it the Wi-Fi here though? It might not be us.
Now I can't hear you again.
It's supposedly really fast.
I have one bar though.
Let's see.
Welcome back. It's Act 3. This probably isn't the best time for a live, but it's the time that I have. Oh, hi, Maya. It's an opera. Yeah, got some Puccini going on here. All right, let's start. Act 3.
Wow, it's Madame Butterfly now.
Yes, it is. Which you have experience in.
Yes, I do.
I feel so bad that this happens, even though it's like I feel personally responsible. So I'm sorry, even though
It's Instagram's fault.
Damn you, Instagram. Okay. Okay. So the question was, how do you advocate for your needs in a romantic relationship? I think was the gist of the question.
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
I would say, I feel like that's the two-part question, because I would say it's important to find someone who, one, obviously you have the connection with so that you're able to communicate these things, which, by the way, part subtext to my advice, don't date a narcissist. Because sometimes you don't realize that you are being made felt guilty for how you feel, or when people say you're too crazy, you're too much, that means that somebody obviously can't handle your radiance, so go find somebody better.
Love that.
But always being communicative and willing to learn. Like I said, I believe that relationships, regardless if they're romantic or friends or family, are give and take, compromise with a foundation of love and respect. I've been saying that for years, and I stand by that very strongly. But sometimes it's just a matter of saying, hey, I'm really sorry about what I did. Apology, which I find is hard to do sometimes for me, because I'm very stubborn and think that I'm always right. But saying, I apologize for that. I'm learning, and I won't do that. I'll do my best to not do that again. But I'm aware of what I've done, and I'm sorry. And also saying, hey, I don't feel that didn't make me feel great. Being able to set boundaries and communicate without, pointing a finger and saying that they're doing something extremely wrong. Because it's a way of also you want your partner to succeed, and you want your partner to feel loved and encouraged and supported. So rather than saying, you're awful at this, you suck at, asking if I'm okay, or helping support my anxiety. But I would really love more support in this area of my emotions, or when I get like this, it really helps me when you do this. Those positive affirmations. I think that's extremely important.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, you said it so well. It's about identifying how you're feeling,
Yeah.
and saying that, so using I statements and not labeling and judging their behavior.
Yeah.
If you're having a thought about what their motivation is or what they're thinking, you're probably wrong, because you're not a mind reader. None of us are.
Yeah.
So just talk about what you know, which is how you feel, and how you feel is never right or wrong. It just is.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. So excited about that.
Okay, here's a cool kind of mental health and musical question. How do you deal with lingering emotions after getting extremely into a character?
Oh, good idea. Honestly, without being really inappropriate, this is why I have a gin every night after the show. And it's not a big gin, it's small gin, because Eva loves gin. You already see, I've given her such specific detail and personality traits and characteristics that she would not ever do that. So I do something extremely myself after a show to snap me back into that kind of reality. But I don't know. That's a good question that I actually haven't thought of. I think just repetition. I've done so many big roles that and I'm such a goofy person. I love making jokes about poop and stuff, 5-year-old things. So I've just kind of learned over the years that it's more important to be Eva than it is to be Eva the actor. If that makes any sense. Oh my God.
Here we go again.
Yeah, I hear you though. Yeah. No, not today, Satan.
Okay.
Oh God. Yeah.
Not today, Satan. So you have a ritual for kind of stepping out of the character, for stepping back into Eva, which I think is so smart.
Yeah. And if you're not 21, or if you're not drinking, then put a song on that's contemporary that you love. I don't know, something that brings you back to you. It's when you're astral projecting, so you have to always have a string to yourself.
I love that. And it is interesting. The three you've been the 3 roles you've played, you're known for in the West End and Broadway, are heavy. Your characters go through.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Are you attracted to that because that's challenging? Do you want to do some comedic roles maybe? Or be the fun romantic lead?
I'm the fun romantic lead in life. So I feel like it's a fun, like in my cabarets, I'm like, F this, F that, funny, funny, funny. And it's fun. It's like my chance to be Eva. And I'm so loud in real life with my personality that I don't really feel like I need something to challenge that. But I love crying. I love getting paid to cry. Oh, the connection is so bad. The connection is so bad. I do this like uncomfortable. Yeah, there's a lot of people on Instagram Live. I can't hear you. Mm-mm.
Act 4. Really long opera. In between these lives, I've been trying to figure out if there's a way to fix it, if there's anything I can do to prevent this from happening, and I've kind of hit a lot of dead ends. Oh my God, right? Let's hope this is the biggest problem that we have today is difficult. I don't know Italian.
Like if it's an opera, I should know Italian. I don't.
Right? Hopefully this is the biggest problem any of us have today is that we keep getting disconnected on Instagram Live because
I've done this before when everyone was on Instagram Live and we actually couldn't get back on. So at least we're able to like reach.
Oh, good. That is good. Okay, so you were saying that Eva, and you get to be silly, goofy you in real life. You get to get paid to cry.
I love it. I love getting paid to cry.
Yeah,
I cry a lot. God blessed me with like a golden tear duct. It's just infinite pool of just tear and pathos.
That's amazing. Oh, people are saying they can't hear us.
Oh no!
Are there some people that can hear, or is just some people can't hear? If you can hear us. Say,
that would be strange if they couldn't hear us.
I can hear you.
Yeah, because I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so people, if you can't hear, log off and come back on. Okay.
Great.
We were talking too about the learning from people in the theater.
Yes.
You have one of Broadway's greatest elder statesmen in your show,
Andre DeShields.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about maybe some of the things you've learned from him. He is otherworldly.
He is. He owns his own divinity for sure. That's what Amber Gray. That's a direct quote from Amber Gray. I tell people because I've been asked this a lot. Like, how does it feel to know and work with Andre DeShields? It is an honor. At the same time, I can't actually believe that I have the honor and opportunity to be his friend because, there's a point where you breach the barrier of Andre DeShields, like one of the atmospheres, one of the spheres of Andre DeShields, and you're able to make him laugh. I have a video where I make him laugh so hard in tech rehearsal where he's crying on stage, and that's one of my favorite videos. Was like, if I make him laugh, it gives me enough energy for life.
That's amazing.
It's truly an honor because every time he speaks, everybody in the room just sits and just like is like writing down every word he's saying, like in the inside of their skin. It's like very important. His presence is an inspiration alone. So very grateful to know him.
I think if you've seen him in the show before, you can understand what Eva's talking about. And certainly at the opening of Hadestown, they really, I feel like the direction really pulls on that, on his presence. That he walks so slowly across that stage, and he takes his time, and you are enthralled watching him.
You are. Like, and then if you can sit and watch somebody walk, they're a special human.
Yes. And then it's a invocation. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love how the show. I love so much about the show. I love how the show is community, right? Because he's inviting us into. It's kind of like how they did their Color Purple revival, where it was like we are at church together. Like join us. If for folks who saw that, I love that because that is what theater is that it is church in a spiritual way.
Yeah.
It is synagogue. It is, we are gathering together. And I feel like that is a nod to the audience that we are all here together.
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
take a moment to breathe together because we're about to go on a journey.
You just gave me goose pimples because I know what that's like for him to look at us and say, "You guys ready?" Because I feel it's Andre, and then he morphs into Hermes in front of our eyes. It's absolutely magical.
It is. I am fearful of this. Pausing on us again, and I want to be able to wrap up, properly, like a good show. We need a closing number. So this conversation was fantastic, and we had great questions. We didn't get to them all, but we can continue the conversation on social media. I was thrilled that you said yes to be on because you are someone who is so visibly vocal about mental health on social media. So again, I want to thank you for doing that, and thank you for saying yes to coming on and being part of the conversation.
I'll always say yes, and I'm always present in the conversation. And if you're like, "Hey, let's do another one," totally available. I don't do anything in my day. I literally was like, "I'm gonna have a beer after this."
Yes.
And I woke up an hour and a half ago.
Love it. Breakfast and then a beer. Breakfast
and a beer.
Instagram Live in 4 acts and then a beer.
And then a beer. And 4 acts.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, we may have it.
Thank you so much also for what you do. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. It is truly my pleasure. So folks, if you enjoyed this, I think we all did. I think we all, that felt like a really nice way to end the week too. On Friday. Yeah. Next week, if you're a Hadestown fan, I have Joelle Blackman on the 13th, Hadestown crew, who's going to be on. But my next one is on Monday with Ezra Minas from Jagged Little Pill, and I'm very excited to have them on as well. Please take care of yourselves. Self-care, boundaries, I think, was one of the themes of this conversation. Boundaries, self-care, breathing.
Yes. Take care of yourself. Take care of your brains and your hearts, please.
Yes.
Next time.
Yes. So thank you all for joining us on the great questions, and stay safe. Bye. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.